The long glass table reflected the ceiling lights so clearly, it almost felt like a mirror. 20 floors above the city, inside one of the most powerful investment firms, everything looked perfect. Everything except me. I sat at the far end of the table, in the smallest chair in the room. The kind of chair no one notices. The kind they keep for interns, or people who don't matter. Across from me, my brother Daniel leaned back in his expensive leather seat, completely relaxed. Confident, like he belonged there. Because he did. And me. I was just someone they tolerated. My father stood near the window, looking out over the skyline. Hands behind his back. Silent. Calculating. "All right," he said finally without turning around. "Let's hear it." My fingers tightened slightly around the folder in front of me. 3 months. That's how long I had worked on this. 3 months of late nights, cold coffee, and endless revisions. I took a breath. "My proposal is called Data Stream Analytics," I began, keeping my voice steady. "It's a predictive system that uses real-time data patterns to." Daniel let out a quiet laugh. Not loud, not dramatic, but just enough. Enough to cut through my words like a blade. "Sorry," he said, raising a hand. "Go on. I'm listening." He wasn't. We both knew that. I continued anyway. "It analyzes large-scale financial data and identifies patterns before they become visible in traditional models. The early testing shows a significant increase in prediction accuracy." "Translation," Daniel interrupted, leaning forward. "You built another algorithm that you think will magically change the world." I paused. "It's not magic," I said calmly. "It's data science." He smiled. That same smile he always used. The one that said you're not serious, and you never will be. Dad finally turned around. He walked slowly to the table and picked up my proposal. He didn't sit. Didn't even look at me. He flipped through the pages, barely stopping at any of them. "How much are you asking for?" he asked. 800,000, I replied. That got Daniel's full attention. He let out a low whistle. 800,000, he repeated. "For this? It's not just an idea," I said. "It's already been tested. I have results, projections, a full development plan." "Emma." Dad's voice stopped me. Calm. Controlled. But final. "I've been doing this for over 3 decades, he said, closing the file slowly. "I've seen thousands of proposals." He placed it back on the table. "This isn't one of the good ones." The words landed quietly. But they hit harder than anything Daniel had said. I swallowed. "You haven't even looked at the technical section," I said. "I don't need to. Simple. Cold. Final." Daniel leaned back again, clearly enjoying this now. "Look," he said. "I'll make it easy for everyone." He tapped the folder in front of me. It's not a business. It's a hobby." My chest tightened. "I spent 4 years building this system," I said. "It's not a hobby." "And what do you have to show for it?" He shot back instantly. Silence. "Any real clients?" he continued. "Any major partnerships? Any track record at all?" I didn't answer. Because I knew what he wanted. He wanted me to say no. So he could prove his point. "Exactly," he said, nodding. "Nothing." Dad adjusted his cufflinks, completely unfazed. "You need experience," he said. "Real experience." "I have experience," I replied quietly. "Working alone in your apartment isn't experience," he said. "Running a business is. Managing people. Handling pressure. Making decisions that actually matter." Each word felt heavier than the last. "So what are you saying?" I asked. "I'm saying," he replied, finally looking directly at me, "you should start small. Get an entry-level job. Learn how things actually work." Daniel smirked. "Answer emails. Make reports. Something realistic." The room went quiet. For a moment, no one said anything. I looked down at my hands. Then slowly, I closed the folder. "Understood," I said. My voice didn't shake. That surprised even me. Dad nodded once, already moving on mentally. "Good," he said. "We'll revisit this in a few years." A few years. I stood up, holding the folder tightly against my chest. "Thank you for your time," I said. Daniel didn't even bother responding. He was already checking his phone. I walked to the door. Each step felt heavier than the last. But I didn't stop. I didn't look back. And I definitely didn't cry. Not here. Not in front of them. When I stepped outside, the hallway felt colder somehow. Quieter. I pressed the elevator button and waited. The doors opened with a soft sound. Inside, the mirrored walls reflected my face back at me. Tired. Frustrated. But not broken. Not even close. The doors closed. And as the elevator began to move, I let out a slow breath. They think I have nothing, I whispered. Then I allowed myself a small smile. They have no idea. The moment I stepped out of the building, my phone vibrated. A single message. From Mom. How did it go? Did they agree? I stared at the screen for a few seconds, then locked my phone without replying. What was I supposed to say? That they didn't even give me a chance? That my own family saw me as a joke? No. Some things were better left unsaid. I crossed the street and walked into a small coffee shop on the corner. The kind of place no one really notices. Perfect. I ordered the cheapest coffee on the menu and sat near the window, placing my folder on the table. For a moment, I just sat there. Still. Quiet. Letting everything settle. Then slowly, I opened my laptop. Not the folder I had shown them. A different one. Encrypted. Hidden. Protected. Inside it was the real version of my life. Incorporation documents. Legal contracts. Investor agreements. And a company name at the top of every file. Data stream analytics. I had already built it. 6 months ago. I had already registered the company. Already secured early funding. Already tested the system with real firms. Everything they said I didn't have, I already did. I just didn't tell them. Because I wanted one thing. Just one. To see if they would believe in me, without proof. Without numbers. Without validation. Just me. And my idea. I got my answer. I exhaled slowly, then clicked on my inbox. 23 unread emails. All from investors. All waiting for me. I opened the first one. We've reviewed the latest results. The accuracy is beyond anything we've seen. The second. We're ready to move forward with expansion. Let's discuss terms. The third. Your algorithm increased our returns significantly. We want full integration. I leaned back slightly. This was my reality. Not that conference room. Not their opinions. This. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Hello. Emma, a calm voice said. This is David Reynolds from Crestbridge Capital. I smiled faintly. I was expecting your call. I hope so, he replied with a light chuckle. Because what you've built is extraordinary. I stayed quiet. Let him speak. We've been testing your system for 6 weeks, he continued. And the results are frankly unbelievable. How so? I asked, even though I already knew. Our predictive accuracy improved by over 20%, he said. Do you understand what that means in our world? Yes, I said softly. It means millions, he replied. Every single week. There was a brief pause. Then he said the words that changed everything. We want exclusivity. I leaned forward slightly. For how long? 6 months, he said. Full access across all our portfolios. And in return? I asked. Another pause. Then, $5 million. Silence. Not on his end. On mine. $5 million. For 6 months. I closed my eyes for a second, then opened them again. Calm. Focused. Controlled. That works, I said. No excitement. No hesitation. Just certainty. Good, he replied. I'll have my legal team reach out immediately. Mine will do the same, I said. He laughed softly. You're impressive, Emma. Most people your age don't sound this composed. I'm not most people, I replied. I can see that, he said. And for what it's worth. I waited. Don't let anyone convince you this isn't real, he added. Because it is. And it's big. The call ended. I slowly placed my phone on the table. $5 million. I looked around the coffee shop. No one knew. No one had any idea. To them, I was just another girl sitting alone with a laptop. Struggling. Trying to figure life out. I almost laughed. Instead, I opened another file. Team updates. Yes. I had a team. Developers. Analysts. People who believed in what I was building. Unlike my own family. For the next 2 hours, I worked. Reviewed code. Approved updates. Finalized agreements. Every second, moving forward. Building something real. By the time I stepped out of the coffee shop, the sun was starting to set. My phone buzzed again. Mom. This time I answered. Emma, sweetheart, she said softly. You didn't reply earlier. I was worried. It didn't go well, I said. Oh, she sighed. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sure they had their reasons. I looked up at the sky. Yeah, they did. They said I need experience, I continued. That I should get an entry-level job. Well, she hesitated. That's not terrible advice. I almost smiled. Maybe, I said. You can always try again later, she added gently. I'm not waiting, I replied. There was a pause. What do you mean? She asked. I mean, I'm moving forward anyway. Without your father's support? She sounded surprised. Yes. How? She asked. I started walking. I'll figure it out, I said. I always do. I ended the call before she could say anything else. Because the truth was, I had already figured it out. And this time, I wasn't asking for permission. 14 months passed. And everything changed. But not the way my family expected. To them, I was still the same. Still figuring things out. Still unemployed. Still the daughter who needed advice. I let them believe it. Every dinner. Every conversation. Every comment. I stayed quiet. I listened while they talked about success. While they explained business. While they told me how the world works. And the whole time, I was building something bigger than anything they had ever imagined. DataStream didn't just grow. It exploded. New clients every week. Major firms signing contracts. Numbers rising faster than even my own projections. By month 6, we weren't small anymore. By month 12, we were impossible to ignore. And by month 14, we were ready. Ready for something massive. The IPO. I approved it late at night, sitting alone in my apartment. Same place. Same desk. Same life on the outside. But everything underneath had changed. The date was set. Thursday morning. 9:30 a.m. NASDAQ. I didn't tell my family. Not a word. The night before the launch, we had dinner together. Same restaurant. Same table. Same conversation. Emma, Dad said, leaning forward slightly. We've been meaning to talk to you. I already knew where this was going. We're concerned, Mom added gently. About your future. I took a sip of water. Calm. Controlled. Marcus shook his head slightly. You're almost 30, he said. You can't keep drifting like this. Drifting. I almost smiled. We think you should talk to someone, Mom continued. A career advisor. Maybe even a therapist. I set my glass down slowly. I'm fine, I said. This isn't about being fine, Dad replied. It's about being realistic. There it was again. That word. Realistic. You need structure, Marcus added. A real job. Something stable. Entry level is fine, Dad said. You have to start somewhere. I looked at all of them. One by one. And for the first time, I didn't feel hurt. I didn't feel angry. I just felt certain. You're right, I said. They all paused. Surprised. I do need to make a change, I continued. Mom smiled. That's wonderful, sweetheart. What kind of change? Dad asked. I picked up my bag. I'll tell you tomorrow, I said. Marcus frowned. Tomorrow. After the market opens. The next morning, I woke up before sunrise. No hesitation. No doubt. Just focus. I got ready slowly. Carefully. Every detail mattered. Then I stepped into the car waiting outside. Not a rideshare. Not a taxi. A black car service. The city was already alive as we drove toward Times Square. Cameras. Reporters. Crowds. All gathered for one thing. The biggest IPO of the quarter. DataStream Analytics. Inside the building, everything moved fast. My team was already there. My CFO walked up to me, smiling. Ready? He asked. I nodded. Let's do it. At exactly 9:30 a.m., I stepped onto the platform. The screen behind me lit up. Our ticker symbol flashed across it. Bright. Bold. Real. I reached forward and rang the bell. The sound echoed through the room. Sharp. Clear. Final. Cameras exploded with flashes. Voices filled the air. Questions. Shouts. Energy. But I focused on one thing. The screen. The numbers started moving. Fast. Faster than expected. 87. 92. 100. 115. Within minutes. Billions. Just like that. I stood there watching it all happen. Not shocked. Not overwhelmed. Just ready. Because I knew this moment was coming. An hour later, I walked into a very familiar building. Same lobby. Same reception desk. Same place I had once walked out of, feeling small. Good morning, the receptionist said, then paused. Her expression changed. Miss Chin. Yes, I said calmly. Is my father in? She nodded quickly. Yes, but he's in a meeting. I'll wait. I sat down. Right there. In the same spot. 10 minutes later, the door opened. Dad stepped out first. Then Marcus. They both froze. Emma, Dad said. I stood up. We need to talk. Something in my voice made him nod instantly. Inside the office, Marcus was already staring at a screen. Pale. Silent. There's a company, he said slowly. That just went public. I said nothing. Data Stream Analytics, he continued. The founder's name is. He turned, looking straight at me. Emma Chin. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Unavoidable. I stepped forward. That's me, I said. No hesitation. No doubt. Just truth. Dad stared at me like he didn't recognize me anymore. That's not possible, Marcus whispered. It is, I replied. I pulled out my phone and placed it on the table. The numbers were still climbing. Current valuation, I said calmly. Over 7 billion. No one spoke. I own 73%, I continued. Which puts my net worth at around 5.8 billion. Marcus took a step back. Dad sat down slowly. This was your idea, he asked. The same one you called a hobby, I said. Silence again. Deeper this time. More real. You already had funding? Marcus asked. Yes. You had clients? Yes. And you didn't tell us? Dad said. I looked at him. I wanted to see if you'd believe in me without all this. I gestured toward the screen. You didn't. No anger. No shouting. Just facts. Simple. Clear. Final. Dad lowered his head slightly. Marcus said nothing. And for the first time, they had no answers. I picked up my phone. I have a meeting, I said. At the door, I paused for just a second. Then I looked back. Next time, I said quietly, listen before you judge. And with that, I walked out, not as the girl they dismissed, but as someone they never saw coming.